Japan is witnessing renewed effort to bring back a poignant tradition. It's the haiku parties, not just any haiku party, but those especially for death row inmates in Japan. Let me explain. Decades ago in Japan, death row inmates would get the opportunity to write a haiku. It's a traditional form of Japanese poetry before their execution. It was a chance for them to say goodbye to friends and family, to life. They would get together, drink tea, read and compose haiku. A practice that reflected the deep cultural connections to both the literary form of haiku and the philosophical and spiritual contemplations that are associated with it. It was symbolic, seen as a way to find peace, a medium through which inmates could express regret and resolve. Things have changed though. The practice ceased to exist decades ago. As per reports, it was after a prisoner who had been notified of their execution killed themselves. At least that is what the Ministry of Justice says. But for abolitionists, there is something else at play. You see, Japan and the United States are the only advanced industrialized democracies which execute convicted murderers. For decades now, the inmates are only informed of their execution mere hours before it is scheduled to be carried out, giving them no time to meet with friends or family. Earlier, they would be notified at least 2 days prior. The death penalty, it's a controversial topic. Many believe this new practice was brought in to avoid public scrutiny, to avoid last-minute appeals. Prisoners on an average spend 14 years on death row, and every day they wake up not knowing if it will be their last. That kind of stress, it's enough to drive some inmates insane. The opaque nature of this practice, which has emerged as its most notorious feature, is now being challenged. Inmates, lawyers, rights groups are trying to bring back the haiku parties, these short poems traditionally consisting of 17 syllables, arranged in a 3-line format of 575. That's the number of syllables. Are a testament to the power of simplicity and depth. Matsuo Basho, one of the most famous haiku poets, epitomized this art form in the 17th century. His haiku are often centered around the impermanence of life, a theme that resonates deeply, especially in the context of the fleeting final moments of life as experienced by death row inmates. The campaign to revive this tradition is part of a broader effort to restore dignity and humanity to those facing the death penalty. Advocates argue that such practices offer a crucial emotional outlet and a chance for introspection, which can be therapeutic and provide a sense of closure for the inmates, their families, and society at large. It underscores a broader critique of the current execution system in Japan, which is often described as opaque and harsh, as I mentioned earlier. The push to restore this tradition is not just about the act of writing a haiku. It's about advocating for changes that would allow death row inmates to have more humane treatment in their final hours. This campaign has become the focal point for broader efforts to reform the penal and justice systems. Haiku have become a symbol for a broader effort. Perhaps we should attempt to end this story with one. Old rights left to wilt. Ink strokes bring new waves of change. Dignity in death. For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.